Hello everyone and welcome to a redesign and full of value 7-seater mid-size SUV, which is this new 2023 Nissan X-Trail. So in today's video we're going to be finding out everything in detail about this 2023 X-Trail. But before we move forward, please consider subscribing to my channel by clicking that red subscription button, and next to that there's a bell icon. Make sure to click that and leave all the notifications on, so that way you will never miss any video updates from my channel. Now the front of this 2023 X-Trail has a new appearance and it's quite evident. So you have the split headlight cluster out here. So this headlight cluster is a mixture of LED and halogen. So there are also DRLs on top, which is an LED. The turn signal is halogen. At the bottom you have this big LED headlights that have been given, and there's also this V motion design grille in chrome which has been given. This new Nissan badging, the flatter one, really like this badge out here, and there's also more chrome strips as goes outside of this design, V motion design grille as well. At the bottom there's more grille, plastic one, normal, and at the bottom of that there is this chrome strip that has been given. And out here you would find those tiny fog lights which are given. These are the LED fog lights, and there are also these vents which are given. These are the real vents, so the air can channel from here and go from the back. It's more for the aerodynamic effect. And there is also this black color glossy grille that has been given. So in terms of the overall appearance, I don't know, I feel that the whole front now looks a lot more bigger than the previous generation. So the new Nissan X-Trail is offered in 3 different variants, which is your S, SV and the SL, whereas the SL being the top of the line, S being the basic. But there are also even more sub options in there. So the S is also offered in a 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive option, whereas the SV and the SL are offered in 4-wheel drive options. So this particular model that I'm reviewing is the SL version, which is a 4-wheel drive version, and on this you would find 19-inch alloy rims, whereas on the S1 you would find the 17 inches, the SL 18 inches. And there is also an option of not just the 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, but also there are 5-seater, 7-seater. So on this S version you get the option to customize it into 5-seater and 7-seater, whereas on the SV and the SL it's the 7-seater options which you get. And on this SL version you would find 19-inch dual tone alloy rims out here, and this plastic skirtings on the fender so that you protect your fenders out here in this golden color this car is. And it also comes in a dual tone color combination, which is a black and the respective color that you choose. At the bottom there's more plastic skirtings, and there's also this chrome strip, and this actually covers the entire door frame. So the frames actually wouldn't get dirtier, so your pants wouldn't when you come in and out of the car. When you come to the side mirrors, this is a black color side mirror, and this is a power foldable, power adjustable side mirror. There's also a blind spot warning inside of it. There's also a turn signal that has been given, and also one of the cameras from the 360-degree camera system. And the 360-degree camera system is actually pretty good on this X-Trail. It's very clear, it's crisp, and yeah, you can select multiple angles also, like some of them, like the sides and the front and the back, so you can select that as well. There's also this chrome strip on top that continues and finishes in the back. Now there is also a tip that has been given on both the driver and the passenger side door on top side out here, and this tip is actually a very clever feature. So this helps in reducing the wind whooshing around these windows, so it helps to break that air effect out here, and then yeah, it's more for the aerodynamic purposes as well. When you come to these doors, the front doors are keyless entry doors, and in the back again you get this plastic skirting so that you can protect your doors and the fenders out here. These tail lights that extend onto the side profile, and on top you get the silver color roof rails, and there's a panoramic sunroof that is given on this X-Trail. Now in the rear there is also a bit of a redesign that has happened out here. Now first coming to these tail lights, these are again a mixture of LED and halogen, the signature LED lights which are given, and the turn signals and the reversing lights are all in halogen, and it extends from the side profile to the back. There's also this X-Trail badging in chrome. There's also this flatter Nissan badging in this dark gray and white color out here, and at the bottom there is this thick plastic bumper which has been given to give it more ruggedness and off-roady kind of feature, and there's this chrome strip and a silver color bumper that has been given, and the exhaust pipe is mounted on the left side out here. Underneath of that there are also parking sensors which are given across. There are 4 of them in the back, and in terms of the visibility it's actually pretty decent, but you don't have to worry because there is a smart rear view monitor. So there is a camera which has been mounted out here, so you can get the feed on your rear view mirror. So you just flick, and then there are passengers sitting in the 3rd row. You don't have to be bothered because you can just switch on to that smart rear view monitor, and then you can get easily the rear view out there, and you can even customize that because there are lots of options where you can change the rotation, you can lower it, you can increase the brightness, you can see all sort of information on that rear view monitor as well. So there is also lots of customization options inside of that with a lot of things to do. So there's also a small bit of spoiler in black color that has been given. And in terms of the boot space, because this is an SUV 7-seater, so the boot space is also pretty important. When the 3rd row of seats are up, you can put about a few shopping bags, but I don't know exactly in liters. There are also these plastic scruff plates which are given. There is also a boot separator that has been given, and you can put that when you lower the 3rd row of seats, but that boot separator also sits down into the boot floor, so there is a dedicated space and a slot that has been given, so which is very good. So it doesn't consume, so it does consume a bit of a space, but not that much, so that's a good thing. And there's also this cover for that, so that you can just cover it and not let anyone see it. The 3rd row of seats which are foldable in a ratio of 50:50, but there's also a spare wheel which has been given. But let me fold down the 3rd row of seat so as to show you where the spare wheel is, because it's pretty interesting. So you remove this, and there are these 2 sort of hooks. You pull them and it sort of lifts up like this, and then you can access the spare wheel out here. Now when the 3rd row of seats are folded down, you can put 584 liters of luggage in the back, and now it's pretty spacious, to be honest, and it's actually like one of the best boot spaces that you will find on this in this segment. And the boot floor itself is pretty flat. There are just couple of arches on both the sides, but that's because there are cup holders in there, so that's about it. There are also tying hooks which are given out here, and there is one 12-volt power socket. And the 2nd row seat is foldable in a ratio of 60:40, but that you can do it from the front only. So you have to pull this strap. Just going to do it for one seat and show you. When the 2nd row seat is folded down, you can put 1424 liters of luggage in the back, and again the boot space is relatively flat. There's not much of a step or anything out here, so you can easily put longer cargos out here. And there's no lip as well, so it's going to be easier to slide your luggage in and out, and it also sits decently low, so it's rather easier again to put your luggage in and out. And you also have the motorized tailgate, and not just that, you can even swipe your leg and open this boot. Now the interior is also given a fresh look on the new X-Trail, and you would find a lot more plush materials, I would say, instead of the plastic materials that were quite prevalent in the previous generation. So out here you get this soft touch tan color leather on this dashboard out here with this stitching. The back is soft touch material on the dashboard, squidgy ones. Even on the door cards there's soft touch. On the sides there is this tan color leather. We're going to be resting hands, again tan color leather. There is also this plastic trim that is meant to look like a wooden trim out here, dark color wood. And there's also this brushed plastic given around the switches, even out here near the gear shifter, and this selector, terrain selector knob out here. So yeah, everywhere else, but at the bottom there is this normal plastic. Even on the door cards there's just normal plastic. Out here again on the side of this center console there is this leather covered material that has been given. The seats are again tan color leather. So yeah, overall the material quality is pretty decent and much more improved on this newer generation of X-Trail. In fact, it looks very similar to the Mitsubishi Outlander, and I got a chance to have a first look of that. So you can click on the pop-up banner out here and you can watch that video. And because Mitsubishi and Nissan have now started collaborating, which is why this is one of the first projects, and which is why you would find a lot of similarities in terms of the interior. But not just that, the whole interior experience out here is very closely similar to the Nissan Pathfinder as well. So you can click on the pop-up banner out here and can watch the detailed review video of the Nissan Pathfinder as well, because the color combinations and all their setup out here looks very similar to the Pathfinder as well. There are also mood lights which are given out here in the door cards out here where the wireless charging is, and on the other side of the door cards. And when it comes to the driver's display, you get a 12.3-inch digital driver's display, and it's pretty crisp, it's very clear. Even during the day it's very easier to see, and you can see a lot of information on your screen, and there are dials on both the sides, and in the center there is information. And not just that, you can change the display view of these dials, and you can change them into like something like where the dials are on the sides and the information is more prevalent in the center. But yeah, that I find it a little confusing. I like the traditional dials, and it's all got animations and graphics going on. And in the center you can see your compass, then you can go down and you can leave it blank, and you can swipe on the right, then you can see your drive computer where you will see your average economy that you're doing after the refuel and everything. Then you go down and then you go to the right again, swipe, then this 4x4i torque where you can see the distribution of torque on your screen, and then there is the tire pressure. There is also the navigation system that you can see, and then you see your media options. Then you have the assist option, which is the Nissan Intelligent Mobility options. Then there is a detailed settings in which you go. There is ESP setting, driver assistance, personal display, there is a heads up display, so you can see a lot more information inside as well. So you can even adjust the height, brightness and all of it, and select the contents, which is your navigation, driving aids, audio and the telephone. Then you hop out and the eco settings, tire pressure, then clock, vehicle maintenance, all of that, and then you just come out and you are into the main screen again. So yeah, lots of things that you can do, but it's pretty easier to operate, that's for sure. And I like the look of that whole driver's display. That way it's not too confusing, as there's just about ample of information that you want to see on your screen. Now when you come to the steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel with a flat bottom, and it's also manually adjustable, which is your tilt and telescopic. The telescopic effect, yeah, it's rather nice. It comes really close to you, so you can adjust in many ways. And on the right side you would find the buttons for your cruise control and the speed limiters. You get the adaptive cruise control on this one, and there are also communication controls that are given out here. There is also a button for the safety system, so you press that and you can change your lane keep assist and all of that. And on the left side there are buttons given for your infotainment controls and your volume controls and everything, and also a few settings to change the driver's information out here on your screen. There are also paddle shifters, plastic ones, which are given, but yeah, this comes with a CVT Xtronic one, so the paddle shifters which are given in case you fancy using them. There is also the Nissan badging in the center out here. And when you come to the air conditioning controls, straightforward button operated air conditioning controls are given out here. You get dual zone air conditioning system on this X-Trail, and the controls are right out here. So there is an on off button, you switch it on and off, and on either side there are dials given to adjust the temperature. Then you can synchronize, yes, you can do that as well. And the fan speed that you can change. There is also the flow of air that you want to change, fresh air, all of that. So you can change everything out here from this buttons as well. And then it's just straightforward and nothing in your infotainment screen or anything, just straightforward button operated air conditioning controls. And when you come to the infotainment screen, this is again a 12.3-inch infotainment screen that has been given on this one, but this one you get on top of the line, and also on the SV it is offered as an optional extra. Otherwise it's an 8-inch infotainment screen. So on this one it's a 12.3-inch, and I really like the look, and it's on the landscape view. So yeah, it's away from your main view of the road, so it's lower, and I like it. I really like it. There are also buttons which are given out here, physical buttons for your volume knob and everything. And on your main screen there are widgets which are given out here, so you can just long press them and you can adjust them and add something if you want to. And not just that, you can even, it's pretty decently snappy as well. So it's slightly laggy because there is a bit of animation going on, but nonetheless it's pretty decent, I would say, for this whole new system that has been given. There are buttons given on the side for your home, navigation, media and everything, so we're going to come to that. So first is your home option, which is your home screen out here. Then there is the navigation, so you get a full view of your maps out here. And you know what, the maps are actually pretty quick that way, so it's pretty snappy. Yeah, I can see that. And you can search your destination and everything from here. Then there is the media option, in which you will find all your media options. So there you will find your source. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment system using the Bluetooth, USB, and there is also wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay that has been given. There is also the phone option. When your phone is connected, you can see all your options in here, dial and messages and everything. And there is this app option where you will see your GPS position, where are my system information and all of that. But there's also a detailed settings which is given on top. It took me a little bit of a time to find that button, that's the only thing I would admit. Then you would see your connections, phone, navigation, system information, all system settings, cameras and all of that stuff. But again, the focus has been the ease of use, and I can see that it's really easy to use this screen out here. It's not like a confusing thing. So yeah, straightforward. You can just sit down, and then you can even add, by the way, the screens out here. So there's a plus button, so when you add that, you can put your audio, whatever options you want, like a widget out here. So yeah, that way, in terms of the infotainment screen, it's decent. It can be fast, but nonetheless, I like the refresh look for sure. Now in terms of the charging, you get two USB port, one type C and one normal port, which is given out here underneath the air conditioning control, and one 12-volt power socket. There's also a wireless charger that has been given out there underneath the USB ports, and there are two more USB ports which are given for the second row of passenger, which is again a type C and a normal USB port. There is also an SOS button which has been given for the emergency purposes, and this X-Trail comes with a panoramic sunroof, and I really like this panoramic sunroof setup because it opens pretty big. And yeah, it's not like those smaller setups that you get. It's just that there's a lot of steps involved, so you have to keep pressing the button in order to open it completely. That's the only thing, but otherwise, yeah, it's a pretty big panoramic sunroof. It makes the whole cabin feel super spacious in here. Now when you come to the storage options, you can put about 1.5 liter water bottle in the door cards. Very easy. Storage is a one plus point on this X-Trail. Even on the other side, a 1.5 liter water bottle, some more storage on the sides. There is this charging pad that you can utilize to put your stuff. There are two normal cup holders which are given out here. There's also this big center armrest in which you can put like easy 3.5 liter water bottle. There's also phone slot, or maybe, yeah, it's for your wallet. A slot has been given, you can put that. There's also this glove box which is decently big as well, and even in the rear door cards you can easily put like 1.5 liter water bottle in both the sides of the door cards. And there are also two more cup holders which are given in the center armrest for the second row of passenger. Now in terms of the entertainment, you get 10 speaker Bose music system that has been given on this X-Trail, and there's also a subwoofer which is mounted between the spare wheel out there, so even that's been given. But this is again only available on the SL version and not the lower ones, and the SV, I think it's an optional version, but yeah, that's the thing. And in terms of the drive terrain and the drive modes that you get, there is this dial that has been given. So there are different terrain options, so you can select your snow mode or you can select the off-road mode. It does decent amount of off-roading as well. I've tried it before in one of the events, and yeah, this sort of sand and yeah terrain, it can tackle very easily that way. It's just, yeah, it takes a little while to adjust to that because it stops and then keeps again, finds its own torque and power setup, and then starts moving. Then the next option is your auto. Then there is the eco option and also the sport mode that has been given. There's also a hill descent control button that has been given, and again, something that has been also prevalent in the new Nissan models are these shifter knobs. So in terms of the gear shifter, this is a sliding one, so you can just put it in the D or in the neutral. You have to press, and reverse and also the park. So yeah, this is rather nice, and ergonomically it's put in a very convenient position. Now when you come to these seats, these are semi-aniline tan color leather seats, but this is only available on the SL version, whereas on the other ones is the fabric or the normal leather options that you will find. And there are also these black color leather strips which are given. These seats are also perforated, but they are not the heated or the cooled seats. But in terms of the comfort levels, yeah, they are rather nicer. They are soft and squishy. There are also these quilting design that has been given out here, and there's decent amount of thigh support that has been given. So yeah, overall, yeah, only the headrest is slightly firmer compared to the seats. Yeah, that's the only thing. And in terms of the adjustability, the driver side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable and 2-way lumbar control, whereas the passenger side seat is 4-way electronically adjustable. Now in the second row, things are decently spacious. The knee room is about fine. There are also cutouts which are given in the seats, driver and the passenger, so that they give you extra bit of knee room. The headroom is also decent, although someone above 6 feet 1-2 inches would start scraping their heads against the ceiling, all because of the panoramic sunroof, which is why the roof sort of lowers down a little bit. But overall, the comfort in here is the same levels as was in the front. The only thing is that you sit quite high up in the second row of seat, and that is what I feel out here, and you're more upright rather than lower down. So again, that's more of an SUV-ish kind of feeling that you get on this X-Trail as well. And in the back, again, you get the same tan color leather seats, which is perforated with this quilting design out here, but again, not the heated or the cooled one. And not just that, the second row seat is also slidable, so you can give that extra bit of room for the third row of passenger in case they want. But yeah, this is about it. Like, the seats can still go further, but then yeah, my knees are almost now touching. So yeah, that's the compromise that you gotta do in this sort of 7-seaters as well. And not just that, even the backrest is also adjustable, so you can recline it if there are no third row of passengers. So yeah, you can easily have a very relaxed seating position out here, or give them more space and sort of sit a little bit upright as well. And you can even slide your legs underneath the seats to get that extra bit of room during the longer journeys. In terms of the material quality, the door cards are normal plastic in here, but the tan leather covering is given on the sides where you're going to be resting hands. This brushed plastic trim that has been given. And in terms of the storage, as I said, 1.5 liter water bottle in the door cards. There are also these pocket storages which are given in both the seats, and there was also one more center storage underneath the tunnel that has been given, like a huge one where you can store a lot of things in there for sure, like your books and stuff. And it's also got a neat bit of incorporation when it was formed, that sort of logo that has been put out there. So yeah, that's a decent touch that has been given. And the second row has this folding armrest as well, so you have to pull this string and you are given these 2 cup holders, which are normal ones. There's also a slot, so you can put your phones in here. So yeah, like in case it is charging or anything, because there are 2 chargers which are given out here, one USB type C and one normal charger. And when you're not going to be using the handrest, then the middle passenger can also use this seat. So the tunnel out here is very small, it's not going to be intruding the space. So when you're sat in the middle seat, actually there is actually more comfort in the middle seat for some reason. And there is also a bit of extra headroom, I feel that there is. But then yeah, definitely middle passengers can sit in here, and they will also be rather comfortable as well. And there are a couple of vents which are given for the second row of passenger, and you can just adjust the flow of air, and that is pretty much it, right? So things in the third row is rather congested, I'm afraid, because I'm just not able to fit into these seats right now, even though I've slided the seats as much as possible in the front. But yet I'm not able to. Probably my legs are just too tall. I shouldn't have too tall legs in that case. And you can just put small kids in here in the back. Again, the seats are all made out of the tan leather, which is quilted in the center, perforated and all that. So the design and everything is exactly the same. There are also 2 headrests, and there are like very long headrests that you get, and you can even adjust the back as well. And yeah, you can make it upright. Let me do that. But yeah, and then you can sit in here with resting your heads. And which is why if there are passengers in the third row. Then there is that smart rear view camera as well, but yeah, it's rather congested for sure, although the seats are quite easy to fold, but not as easy as the Toyota Veloz, where it was just one flick and the whole seat would turn. But in this, it just sort of slides ahead, and that's about it. Yeah, got a little bit of a breather in here, and there are just couple of cup holders which are given on either sides, and some more space on the sides that you can utilize. So yeah, that's about it. But there is one more feature that the X-Trail has, and those are the door hinges for the second row doors. So in there, the hinges are made out of the cast metal instead of the sheet metal where they bend and all. So where this helps is these doors actually open nearly 90 degrees. So for the second row, if you are going to be mounting child seats and all, it's going to be very easier, because the seats actually the doors actually open quite big that ways, and yeah, that helps in the access, you know, into the second row of seat if you want to put anything, especially the child seat. So yeah, that's about it. But for the third row, yeah, adults are going to be slightly, nearly difficult to get them into the third row of seat. So this new Nissan X-Trail is powered by a 4-cylinder 2.5 liter engine that produces 181 horsepower and 244 Newton meters of torque, and this engine is mated to an Xtronic CVT transmission, whereas, as I mentioned, it's powering the all four wheels, which is why it's got a 4-wheel drive system. And the 4-wheel drive system, as I mentioned, is only available on SV and SL. It's not in the 2-wheel drive. If you want a 2-wheel drive option, then there is an S variant. You can opt that, and you have the option to go for either 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive system. And the engine is common across all the model lineup, ranging from the S to the SL. So let me come straight into the response rate. The engine, yeah, that's all right, I would say. It's not too bad in terms of the response. And the gearbox, well, it's a CVT, so it's going to be rather sluggish in terms of the response. But what Nissan has done well is kept the noise in check, because usually CVTs are quite grumbly, loud, and yeah, they make the driving experience slightly unpleasant, I would say. But here Nissan has done a good job in keeping the cabin quiet, rather quiet compared to the previous generation. So I'm not going to complain for the CVT so far, but yeah, the response, as I said, is going to be sluggish clubbed with this 2.5 liter engine. This time this X-Trail also got a turbocharged engine like the other models outside. So yeah, it would really make this car super lively, because otherwise this car is, the newer one, is actually rather nice. I'm actually liking it for sure after spending so many days in here. Now when you come to the efficiency, because there's a CVT transmission, so you will, on a day-to-day run, you will get anywhere between 10 to 11 kilometers per liter inside the city, which is pretty good for a 7-seater. And on a longer journeys, you would get out anywhere between 12 to 13 kilometers per liter. Again, that's a pretty good one, although the claim is around 15.1. So I'm sure on a very long run you will be able to eke out, but it's still very close to the estimated figures. And that's what you get with the CVT transmission. So, which is why there are paddle shifters which are given, but yeah, there's no point in that. You can even switch to the sport mode, and it makes the throttle response a little more aggressive, and then yeah, it stretches the RPMs a little bit, so that it makes the car a little more sportier for sure. But yeah, it feels very light and nimble that way, that's for sure. And it's very light on its feet. You can easily accelerate it. You never feel like you're driving a 7-seater when you're sitting in here. Now when you come to the noise and the vibrations, again, that's also rather nice. As I said, there's no CVT noise or anything in here, so everything is pretty much kept in check. Now when it comes to the comfort levels and also the suspensions, they are on a very balanced approach, so you get a very comfortable ride on a day-to-day basis, especially if you club it with these seats out here, which are these leather seats. They are rather comfortable on a day-to-day journey as well. And the car actually can do a light bit of off-roading. I've done that before in sort of these terrains. So yeah, it's also kind of capable and quite impressive for a car that's meant to do more day-to-day stuff. Can do this. But anyways, let me show a slalom and show you the suspension setup, because there's also the vehicle dynamics that kick into the picture. So yeah, they try to control me so that I don't topple over, and they are making sure everything is flying around in the car. So yeah, they do make sure that the car is always balanced and it's never toppling, although there is some amount of roll, that's for sure, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, it's not heavily like a lot of roll, and because the dynamics are there, the traction control and everything is making sure that the vehicle is kind of, you know, stable and planted. Now when you come to the steering setup, again, this is a good one, although it feels a little sleepy at the lower end when you're trying to turn it, but then yeah, once you start turning, yeah, it really comes into effect. And the steering setup is good and you get good amount of feedback from it. I know for a fact that yeah, it's again a big SUV, kind of big SUV, but yeah, the steering setup is not too bad. It's giving you decent amount of feedback as well. Now when it comes to the brakes, you get 4 disc brakes on this one. Let me do 100 to 0 emergency brake stop and show you the performance out of it. Yeah, the ABS kicks in, and yeah, there's also a brake auto hold as well. So the brake actually feels a little spongy, or rather the pedal feels a little spongy, so you have to really press it in and then slam the brakes hard in order to make that braking action. But yeah, it's never like, you know, very sudden, that's the thing. So yeah, you really have to stomp on the brakes, press them hard, and the ABS will do its work so that you don't lock your brakes up. And yeah, slight sponginess is there in the brake pedal. Now when you come to the safety systems, you get 6 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger, 2 curtain airbags. There are also child isofix points in both the rear seats. There is also the 360-degree camera system, as I mentioned. There is also the rear warning as well. If there is anything, objects around, it's going to warn you as well. There's also lane keep assist. There's also lane departure warning and all of that. There's also the adaptive cruise control. Then there is the Nissan intelligent safety systems that has been given. So yeah, pretty much all the safety systems are there on this X-Trail as well. Now when you come to the pricing, so the S variant, which is a 2-wheel drive, starts from 99,900 dirhams, whereas the SV variant comes in at 124,000 dirhams. And the SV option, where you have bigger rims, bigger infotainment screen, and the option to have leather seats, comes in at 133,000 dirhams. And this SL version comes in at 148,000 dirhams, where you have everything on this car. Pretty much every single thing that you've seen in this video is the top of the line that you get for your 148,000 dirhams. Now in terms of the pricing, it's the mid-size SUV segment is pretty crowded, and in order to make your mark, you really have to stand out. Now with the new X-Trail, yes, it stands out because it's got the fresh looks, it's got that fresh treatment, and let's be honest, yes, it's not going to be a 7-seater entirely, because most of the times you're going to be using it as a 5-seater, but then you have a lot of storage space as well. And there's also a good amount of interior quality that you get, which is what I really liked. It really feels now worth that money that you're spending, because you have this tan leather interior, and then not just that, you have this 12.3-inch screens out here, and then really everything is just very well sorted out here. So yeah, you just feel that yeah, you're spending that amount quite rightly in that sense. But anyways, it's a very subjective matter, but you should definitely check this car out for what its worth is, or maybe check out the 2-wheel drive S version or a 4-wheel drive if your use is going to be a little more mixed, like an off-road and just more like a daily run. Then yeah, the S variant for maybe around 110,000 is the one for you. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and stay safe.